Hey guys, so I want to try to explain why I voted for Donald Trump in 2016 and why I will vote for him again this time around in 2020. So first off, just my whole adult life and even maybe before that, I've watched the whole political show, the political thing in this country when the presidential election comes around. And just in watching the candidates and then in watching whoever would win, how they would be in office and the things that they would not do that they had promised they would do, and all of that stuff, I pretty quickly figured out that politicians are mostly liars, and politicians that's sort of at best, and then at worst, politicians maybe are being manipulated by some other force behind the scenes. And I always kind of felt that way. I always felt there was something behind the scenes pulling the strings and bringing these candidates to the forefront. Because I always thought, where do we get these people? These are the best we could come up with for president. And so anyway, that made me very skeptical of the political landscape, I guess you would say. And I really never picked a party. I always was an independent, and my views were more towards the conservative side, but I felt like there's crooks on both sides. And so I've always really felt that way, and most of my life I have voted. I'm not sure I voted in the very first election that I was of age to, but pretty much every election since then, I have voted. And it always felt like the lesser of two evils, right? And that's what most people say, right? Well, you got to pick the lesser of two evils, and which is terrible to me. That's not a good choice. But regardless, that's kind of how it was. And I always just wanted so badly and prayed and hoped that we'd have a candidate one day that, of course, was about good things, but no matter what they were about, just that they would actually follow through with the things that they said they were going to do, or that actually just really believed in something and really took a stand for it and didn't back down and pushed for it. I've been waiting my whole life for a candidate like that. And when Donald Trump stepped onto the scene, I won't say that at the very moment I knew he was the guy, but pretty soon after, I started to realize this is the guy. This is the guy to do that. Because I noticed that the things he was talking about were good things. By the way, there were things that many other presidents talked about, but they never did. And then, and so I started to feel like he could be a good choice. And then, of course, the media comes and starts saying that he said this and he said that and all these things. And interestingly enough, I would say, really? Wow, did he say that? So I would have doubts about him, right? But I would go on the internet and look up and find the speech where he was talking, not find the speech as CNN or Fox or anybody else broadcasted it, but just find the speech unedited, right? Unedited, just from beginning to end. What did he say? And every time that I would do that process, I would find that the media had misrepresented or just flat out lied about what he said. And so this became an ongoing thing. This would happen over and over and over. And I started to see that the media was completely corrupt, just like the politicians. And I always knew that the media misrepresented things. We all knew that. That's nothing new. But it just really highlighted it for me. It really showed how clearly, or showed to me clearly that that was the case. So the media made up this whole false narrative, this whole false picture of who the man was. And it was pretty easy to see if you actually dug under the surface. It is pretty easy to see if you just dig under the surface. Now, is he sometimes not nice? Yeah. But if you're going up against a totally corrupt system that's not being nice to you, I don't think there's any other way to be than not nice to that system. So I'm not mad about that. So I began to be of the mindset that, hey, this guy Donald Trump, at worst, he could mess things up like every other president did. You know, in other words, he couldn't mess them up any worse than the other presidents did. Or, at best, he could actually be the best president we've had in my lifetime and maybe beyond. And which I think is the case at this point. Okay, so, but it was wait and see, right? Vote for him and wait and see what happens. So now we're at the point where he's been the president for close to 4 years now, and it turns out that almost everything that he promised, he's either done or fought super hard to do. And all of this in the face of complete opposition from everybody. Obviously from the Democrats, but from the media acting like they are the Democratic Party. Then you have members of his own party fighting against him. And as all these things were happening in the campaign and during the presidency, it just, in my mind, you can disagree, but in my mind, it highlighted just how corrupt all of these things really are, which I thought already, but it just proved it to me. And every time I see somebody turn against Donald Trump, it's like, it's either they're very ignorant about what's really going on, or they are corrupt as sin. And that's how I feel about it. So basically, I see him as a guy who didn't need to go into politics. He already had money. He already had fame. He already had a good life. Why would he want to sign up for the abuse that he's been going through for the last 4 years? Why would anybody really want to sign up for that kind of abuse? But especially someone who already has money, already has what they need. So I think he's a guy who actually is in it for the right reasons, unlike all the previous politicians, with possible exceptions, okay? But pretty much most of them. What would be his motivation for getting involved with politics? I think he actually has the right motives. He actually cares about America and about the people of America, and that he really wants to do something to help America and to set us back on the right track. Because we've been going downhill my whole lifetime, for sure. Side note, here in California was at one time a raging economy, a raging force in the world. We built everything here in Los Angeles. We were building airplanes, we were building cars, we were building just about everything that you can think of in Los Angeles. And today, we do almost none of that in Los Angeles. They're all gone. The GM, General Motors plant is gone. The Lockheed is gone. Like, you know what's there now? Shopping centers. Shopping centers. So we traded great paying jobs, jobs that people would work at and could at least make a living at and support a family on, and we traded them for minimum wage jobs where you hang clothes all day and stuff like that and sell burgers. That's what's there now. So that's partly our nation's decline, but that's especially California's decline on top of that. Don't get me started on California. But the point is, President Trump is trying to reverse that decline and put us back into a place where we're prospering and where we're growing, and we have a growing economy, and we have jobs getting pumped out, and people can get those jobs, and those could be good paying jobs, and that people can prosper. And he's actually doing the things that he's setting out to do. So he's got my vote again. And I do believe that he's the best president for sure of my lifetime, and probably since Abraham Lincoln. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. I think you're wrong. And so anyway, that's pretty much what I have to say today, guys. And just wanted to put that on the table and, explain from my point of view how I think about this. Just consider for yourself. And don't just Google things and look at whatever comes up on the first page. You do understand Google is biased, right? They're pushing certain things, certain narratives. So don't, that's not research. Dig a little deeper, get a little under the surface, and just go listen to the actual speech that was made. If you just go listen to the speech that was made in its entirety, you'll at least know what he actually said in context. All right? So just think, people. Use your brain. Don't just accept what the media says or what all your friends say or whatever, because a lot of things these days are wrong. Just flat out wrong. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.